So you just watched the first two videos, and now we're going to talk about how to beat the five forces, right? Remember we said your current strategy is not going to get you where you want to go or over your challenges. At least consider it. Whatever you've done up to this point to get to 5 million, you may need to consider a different strategy to get to 10 million. Or if you have 50 million and you want to get to 75 million, you may want to consider your strategy. So the first question I asked everyone that I talked to, I must have asked 1,000 people this over the phone and even more in mediums like this. Where do your client sales start? Meaning when your ideal prospect first entered to market and began to realize that they wanted your type of service or product, where did that start? And I asked everyone this, and I'm here to tell you that if you're watching this video, 100% of your sales start online. Here's another question I asked. What percentage of your sales start online in the form of research? Well, we know because we know who's in market actively pursuing a purchase of what you sell, because we're bringing in 25 billion pieces of behavior data of people-based marketing, because we've identified these individuals, we've resolved the identity. We know that 100% of your sales start online. And to answer this first question, where do the client sales start? It starts in the form of research. When a prospect understands that they either have a challenge or there's something that they want that they do not have, they go online and educate themselves. So they start to do some type of research. They are aware. They are in the awareness stage. They realize that they have a problem that they do not want, or that they don't have something that they want, and they begin to research it. So if you're dealing with those five forces and you're dealing with rivals, which is the most powerful of the five forces for you, and new entrants and substitutes, how are you going to compete against that? Knowing that all of your sales start online, and knowing that the first step to purchasing from you is an awareness, meaning that they're aware and they want to educate themselves. So what we do is we have what's called in-market targeting. And there's three types of leads. There's in-market leads, there's in-funnel leads, and then there's Google, Facebook lookalike match. So the in-market lead is an individual who is actively pursuing a purchase of what you sell. It is an individual who's actively pursuing a solution that your products or services provide. Now, the advantages of only marketing to an in-market lead is, let's take powerful suppliers, Google and Facebook. When we go to these platforms, we are not subjugated to their price points. Because we already know who the needles are in the haystack, we tell Facebook, we tell Google, only show our ads to these individuals. And because we're super targeted, and because our messaging is so relevant, because these individuals are actively pursuing a purchase, we get a very, very, very low cost per click. Now, what are the benefits to that? Well, number one, remember when we talked about in the second video, profit equals income minus cost, our costs go down. Thus, your profits automatically go up. And one of the competitive ways that you can beat the powerful forces of rivals, substitutes, and new entrants is being able to acquire a client at a much lower rate than they can. If you and I are both software development companies and it only costs me $50 to acquire a client that's worth $20,000, and it costs you $600 to acquire a client, and you're only getting, and let's say you're getting, let's compare apples to apples, you're getting $20,000 for that client as well. I'm going to beat you every day, including Sunday, because I have a competitive advantage, because I can acquire a client at a less cheaper rate than you can. Let's go into the next one, an in-funnel lead. An in-funnel lead is 10 times better than an in-market lead. An in-funnel lead, these are individuals who are actively pursuing a purchase from you. So, again, let's take it back to the beginning. We know that when someone is showing or begins to show a buying behavior, they do it in the form of researching online. So I will ask this next question. What percentage of your sales visit your website before you purchase? And again, if you say no, I can't, we couldn't help you. But 9 times out of 10, again, if you are watching this video, 100% of your sales visit your website before they purchase. So what if you had a list of everyone who visited your website in the last 12 months? Hell, what if you had a list of everyone who visited your website in the last 6 months? And by list, I mean name, address, phone number, email address. Well, that's what an in-funnel lead is. An in-funnel lead is an individual who's actively pursuing a purchase from you, right? Now, again, this technology is very cool and it's very sexy, but without the time-tested, proven principles behind it, without understanding the 2 things that you need to have in place before someone purchases from you, and we'll get into that in a second, without understanding the 7 ways to grow a business, without understanding the 5 forces that you compete against for profit, this technology doesn't mean anything. But since you have in-funnel leads, powerful buyers, you will never have to compete on price again because you own this data when it's an in-market lead or an in-funnel lead or a Google lookalike mismatch. And because you own this data and because you know who's in market, you can get to these individuals, and because you know where they come into the marketplace and first show strong buying behavior, you can be there first to set the perspective and set what we call the mind frame on what the value proposition is. And again, all the value proposition is if I'm your ideal prospect, why should I buy from you? All right. Now, what are the advantages of an in-funnel lead? Well, I just told you. You know exactly who is considering to purchase from you. So you can attribute and you can do a closed back loop analysis on who came in through your funnel, when they came in through your funnel, and track the path to purchase so that you can cater your messaging and leverage your limited resources into building that relationship. Now, how about a Google Facebook lookalike match? Well, what the Google Facebook lookalike match is, once you know who's in market actively pursuing a purchase of what you sell, once you know who's in funnel as well, you can upload this data because you own it to Facebook and Google, Amazon, LinkedIn, and Twitter will be doing this as well. And they will give back to you a match of lists who are very, very similar based on all of the behavior and based on all of the data points that collective list has. They're going to give back to you a lookalike match. So when we give you an in-market lead or an in-funnel lead, and let's say it's 1,000 individuals, Facebook will match back and give you another list of 2 million. All right, that's a Google Facebook lookalike match. So how does that beat the 5 forces? Well, powerful suppliers. When we take this data to Facebook and to Google, while your competitors are marketing to the haystack, you are only marketing to the needles. Facebook and Google run off what's called a relevancy score. And what they do is they show your ads to an ideal demographic that you put in. And as that demographic begins to interact with your ad, if it's a hit or miss, up or down, depending on how many clicks you get, Facebook and Google are going to begin to rank you. And if it's not relevant to that market, and let's say you choose a demographic and out of 10 people in that demographic, only 3 of them are your ideal prospect, where the other 7 are going to cause your cost per click to go up. With this Google Facebook lookalike match, all 10 of them are going to be relevant. And thus, it's going to reduce your cost per click and reduce your cost per acquisition. Thus, you're now outbidding powerful suppliers. Now, earlier I mentioned that, all of this technology is cool and everything that we can do with this data and behavior analytics is awesome. But if you don't understand the 2 things that you need to have in place, once someone moves from awareness and moves into consideration, when they are ready to make a purchase, you got to have 2 things. The first thing is a relationship. And then the second thing is top of mind, right? Now, how do you do that? Well, let's talk about a relationship. In order to build a relationship with someone, you need to have trust, which is the heart of any relationship. And the only way that you build trust online is to help them, start a conversation with them, show them that you care by meeting them where they are in the sales cycle. And the best place to meet them in the sales cycle is in the beginning, first. So while all of your rivals are looking for the ideal prospect, the needle in the haystack, you already know who the needle in the haystack is. You already know that you need trust. You already know that you need trust to build a relationship with them. So now you can take your time, be the first one to show them what the value proposition is. And now every time another rival or a substitute tries to market to them, they're going to compare them to you because you were first. All right. Now, once you have the trust, the next step of the relationship is they need to believe and understand your value proposition. Now, the best way to help them become an educated, smart buyer, and since they're researching and understanding their problem and then eventually the solution, you need to educate them. That's what marketing is. Marketing is about having a conversation. It's a dialogue, right? It's not a one-way conversation. It's a dialogue. You guys are having a dialogue with me right now while you're watching this. At the same time, I'm educating you on how you can get from point A to point B, from 5 million to 10 million, how you can improve your strategy and beat the 5 forces. So to build a relationship, you need to educate them on the value proposition. You need to educate them on how to solve their problem. And as you're educating them and helping them solve their problem, at the same time, you're having a conversation with them. At the same time, you're slowly building trust. And then when they're ready to make a purchase, they need to understand your value proposition. And the value proposition answers one pivotal question. If I am your ideal prospect, why should I buy from you? Now, if you need help with your value proposition, because it's one of the huge challenges that I see in this industry, computer software and information technology, reach out to me, schedule a consultation, a quick 15-minute, 30-minute call, and we can hash that out. Let's go on to number 2. So the first thing you need is a relationship with someone when they're ready to make a purchase. The second thing you need is to be top of mind, right? Now we're going to do a quick thought experiment, okay? And I ask everyone this question when they sit down and talk with me. In the last 24 hours, statistically proven, you've seen 100 ads. Can you tell me one? And a lot of you guys are saying, Michael, I get it. You got to be top of mind. I get it. Yes, but there's a key issue with that. People forget. You just proved that with this thought experiment. You've seen 100 ads, at least 100 ads in the last 24 hours, and you can't name one. So when these prospects are considering of purchasing your type of product or service, what often happens is one of your rivals swoops in at the right time with an ad, or it just happens to send them an email, or just happens to follow up before you do, and they wind up getting the sale. Well, with this data, with this in-market lead, with this in-market funnels, since we own the data, we own and control it, we can market to these individuals on any platform, online or offline. LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Google, email, mobile, direct mail, cold call, canvassing, so that you can market to these individuals and not even market to these individuals, so that you can start conversations, so that you can educate them, so that you can help them, so that you can build trust whenever you want to, wherever you want to, and always be top of mind, and slowly educate them on how to make a smart buying decision, and slowly educate them on your value proposition, and help them believe that your value proposition can get them where they want to go. That is the power of people-based marketing, of behavior targeting. These are things that you cannot do currently today with your current strategy and the way that you guys are going about demographic targeting. Right? Now, in the next video, I'm going to be showing you guys and explaining to you guys how we're able to do this. And again, it's the sexy stuff. People really get excited when I tell them how we're able to identify who is actively in market pursuing a purchase of what you sell. And again, if you guys don't leverage this with us, you guys need to be working with whoever else out there can provide you guys with the ability to do people-based targeting, behavior-based targeting. Because in 2018 and beyond, this is where marketing will go. And what I'm going to show you guys in the next video is literally a disruptive structural change in business and the way that we market and the way that we render a yes from our ideal prospects.